Good morning, I'm Ben Russell. Thanks for joining us. We have several developing stories at this hour, but we begin with the shakeup at the Dallas Police Department.
Ben Russell is here with the stories you need to know before you go this morning.
Mark and Deborah, thank you so much. We start in Dallas, where police are looking into a deadly crash along Highway 175. And we're following breaking news at this hour. Congressman Joe Barton now says he will not seek re-election. In today's Health Connection, many North Texas families will soon learn whether their kids will have health insurance next year. Turning our attention now to the weather, of course, a hot topic. And hot's not quite the word, Keisha,
No.
but it's not cold out there.
It is not cold. Hey, upper 50s.
It's Texas, right? Give it a few days and the weather's going to change.
There you go.
The entertainment editor at GuideLive.com, as well as the Dallas Morning News. Sarah, of course, gives us weekly tips on the best weekend events every week, and she's back with us today. Good morning, Sarah.
Hi, Ben. Nice to see you.
Thanks, you as well. Of course, Sarah, there's no shortage of holiday fun events going on this weekend. Tell me what some of your favorites are. There it is. Today marks 20 years since Titanic first hit the silver screen. AMC Theaters is bringing it back for 1 week starting today to celebrate. Today, Titanic has grossed more than $2.1 billion at the box office. Now, Mark and Deborah, I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you, but don't worry about me, because here in the newsroom, my heart will go on.
Yes, we'll never let go, Ben. Yes, love it. All right,
well played,
so
my
much.
friend.
Look at this large chunk of twisted sheet metal that was the roof of this building. It flew over here, impaled itself through this wrought iron fence, and wrapped itself around the tree. Imagine seeing this flying through the air. This easily weighs hundreds of pounds, and there's stuff like this scattered everywhere. I count 11 blocks of Elm Street where we are in deep dark red. I believe it's 9 square blocks is the official word from the city of Dallas that are shut down. This will be the case for some time today. We have not seen a scene like this in recent memory anywhere. Now, that car is not this one, if I could bring it to you, but this is another one that is not just parked here. This is evidence, because if we get closer, you can see, Brian and Deborah, there are some green markers here right on the driver's side. These are bullet holes. People might think in terms of airport safety, we're talking about an airplane coming in for a landing. But in this case, we're not. What we're talking about is this airplane. Number one, Mark, that he is not alone in his concern, and two, that scenario he described is apparently not out of the ordinary. Let me explain. There is nearly nothing as dread-inducing as arriving to the airport as we are now and finding yourself staring down the barrel of a long line for security. Make no mistake, there are a lot of early morning flights. I want to direct your attention up to the big boards here. We all have fingerprints, and they are largely unique. However, the problem is that they've been proven time and again to not be completely reliable as a means of identification. Even less reliable, what we have over here, bite mark evidence. I'm trying to make my way through this crowd. Everybody's behaving themselves, so thank you. No, you're fine. I'm in your way. And if you do think that gentleman and his wife or others are crazy, you're going to have to think all these folks are crazy. And I don't. And it's this man's birthday right here. Carrie, can you see him? So happy birthday to you. Thank you very much. Yeah, see? So how else would you want to spend your birthday, right? Up early and at the store. These cars that are creeping through here, that's a smile on this man's face, right? Do you know what you're in for, by the way?
Yes, we do. On Wednesday.
Yeah, okay, so he knows all about this.
And Ben, hopefully you're keeping your distance from these birds.
As best we can, Deborah, but they are quite literally everywhere. I want to direct your attention to something. You see back behind me, there's a beware of dog sign. Well, with all due respect to the canine kept behind that fence, that's not the animal most people need to be aware of here. There's no sign for the animal we're talking about, but there are certainly signs of their presence, both if you look down and if you look up. For example, look over here at the hood of the homeowner's SUV, and this is nothing.
You're watching NBC5 News at 11.
Good morning, I'm Ben Russell. Thanks for joining us. We have several developing stories at this hour, but we begin with the shakeup at the Dallas Police Department. New Police Chief Renee Hall just laid out her plan for the department moving forward. It includes her choices for top command staff. She's bringing in Thomas Taylor from Detroit to be her new Assistant Director Chief of Staff, and she's officially named David Hughes as her Executive Assistant Chief. He was the former acting chief of police. She claims these moves will bolster departmental crime-fighting resources citywide. And part of the plan involves reducing the overall number of officers who are in administrative positions. Right now, there are 9 assistant police chiefs and 13 deputy chiefs. But moving forward, there are only 3 assistant chiefs and 7 deputies. This plan officially goes into effect in about 2 weeks. And this just in, the White House is considering a plan to replace Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. The Associated Press reports that Tillerson will be replaced with CIA Director Mike Pompeo. It is not yet clear how soon that could happen. A White House official said the timing remains unclear. The New York Times first reported this potential shakeup, saying it would likely happen within several weeks. And Michigan Representative John Conyers is in a Detroit hospital this morning. The 88-year-old congressman is seeking treatment for stress. His political consultant blamed the, quote, media assault stemming from the sexual misconduct allegations against the lawmaker. Multiple women have come forward in recent days with allegations. Conyers' consultant refers to some of them as serial accusers. And now to a story that involves your money. It has been another record day on Wall Street so far, with both the Dow as well as the S&P 500 hitting all-time highs. This is what the situation looks like at this hour. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 115 points, breaking above 24,000 for the very first time. Meantime, the S&P 500 reached an all-time high at an open, advancing 0.4%. As for the Nasdaq, that rose just slightly after sharp losses in the previous session. And now to developments in Dallas right now. The Dallas ISD is meeting to figure out plans for transportation in the next school year, how to get kids to and from school. As of now, the district uses Dallas County Schools for all of its transportation. DCS will be dissolved at the end of this school year. The Mesquite police officer who shot an unarmed man earlier this month is out of a job. The chief of police made the announcement last night that Officer Derek Wiley would be placed on indefinite suspension. NBC5's Lexi Hotelling's in the newsroom now with more on what the department found out. Lexi.
Well, Ben, Mesquite.
NBC5.
Lexi, thank you. Now to news no traveler wants to hear ahead of the holidays. Some 15,000 American Airlines flights are in jeopardy. They have no pilot because of a computer scheduling glitch. The airline says it is working to get all of the flights covered in December. They have reserve pilots they plan to call in. The company is also offering 15,000 pilots time and a half to fill in wherever they are needed. Travel experts say it's too soon to tell exactly how this will impact passengers. More women coming forward with accusations against Matt Lauer in the wake of his firing from NBC News. Their stories are both shocking and disturbing. Lauer, who released a statement this morning, is one of the most high-profile faces of the sexual harassment firestorm that's engulfed the country. Here's NBC's Stephanie Gosk. And that was Stephanie Gosk reporting. Now we have here Matt Lauer's full statement, and we'll read it to you now. There are no words to express my sorrow and regret for the pain I have caused others by words and actions. To the people I have hurt, I am truly sorry. As I am writing this, I realize the depth of the damage and disappointment I have left behind at home and at NBC. Some of what is being said about me is untrue or mischaracterized, but there is enough truth in these stories to make me feel embarrassed and ashamed. I regret that my shame is now shared by the people I cherish dearly. Repairing the damage will take a lot of time and soul searching, and I'm committed to beginning that effort. It is now my full-time job. The last 2 days have forced me to take a very hard look at my own troubling flaws. It's been humbling. I'm blessed to be surrounded by the people I love. I thank them for their patience and grace. This issue of inappropriate behavior is prompting conversations everywhere because in some cases it's not exactly easy to tell what is appropriate and what is not. And then handling those situations can also be difficult. That's Catherine Esser from the Women's Center of Tarrant County. She and a colleague, Alicia Byerly, had a live online conversation about this very topic this morning. They talked about the signs to look for, the steps to take, and how to help anyone who may be in a situation they don't know how to get out of. You can listen to that conversation on the NBC DFW Facebook page. Many powerful women in public life have come forward to say, "Me too." This includes now Fort Worth Mayor Betsy Price. In a candid interview with NBC5, Price said it happened years ago, before she was elected to public office.
Sure, I mean, it was fairly commonplace for guys to say things like, you know, get involved with me and I'll make your career go further. I mean, that was pretty common. Or, oh, you know, Betsy, you got great legs and things like that. And, oh, you know, I mean, who hadn't had a pinch or two or a pat on the fanny? You know, and that's real annoying. And you just want to go, well, how do you feel about me patting you on the butt?
It's the mayor of Fort Worth. Price says the harassment was never right, but was more accepted years ago. She hopes the current spotlight on the issue empowers women to come forward. And we're following breaking news at this hour. Congressman Joe Barton now says he will not seek re-election. This all comes after women accused Barton of sexual misconduct, including new allegations from an Arlington political activist. Kelly Cannon says the two started messaging on Facebook back in 2011 when Barton was a married man. In a string in 2012, she showed us these texts. One begins with, "Tell me what you're wearing, if anything." She replies, "Anything?" The response, "So that means you're wearing a tank top and no panties right now." She replies, "Okay, that's enough. You know my attire. Good night."
We would chat about it, and so I would shut it down.
Cannon tells our Julie Fine she never cut off communication because she wanted to have an open line of communication with her congressman. She says she decided to publicize these messages after a recent meeting in Arlington where a group of women encouraged Barton not to run again. She says his explanation for the nude photo of him that appeared online and we reported on previously was not sufficient. Congressman Barton has not confirmed the Facebook messages to NBC5. We've also not received a statement from his consultant or his spokesperson, but again, the breaking news we brought to you, according to the Dallas Morning News, Congressman Joe Barton says he will not seek re-election. Meantime, Sheriff Lupe Valdez in Dallas County could soon make an announcement about the possibility of her running for governor of Texas. Reports surfaced last night that Valdez, a Democrat, had already resigned from her position. Valdez tried to clear the air yesterday, saying she didn't quit, but a decision about a run for governor is coming. If she decides to run, her name recognition will certainly help to raise money, but any Democratic challenger will certainly face an uphill battle against incumbent Republican Governor Greg Abbott. Valdez has 12 more days, including today, to make her decision official. The deadline to file for governor's candidates is December the 11th. Meantime, Colleyville's police chief is retiring today. Chief Michael Holder has been on the job for 6 years now. He's also the city's public safety director. Holder will leave the department and head to the town of Kaufman. There he will work as assistant city manager. The clock is ticking for nearly 500,000 kids across Texas, why they could lose funding for a program that provides their health insurance. And they're ready to face the masses, the first big event for the brand new royal couple.
Come here. You better come here. You better come here. I got it. Oh. Come here. Ready, set, go. Good girl. I think she's kind of worn out.
This is her job. This is what she does. Makes you feel better automatically, doesn't it? You know, the one thing about a dog is they'll never tell your secrets. The dogs take on some of that stress. So when they've done the dog's stress hormone levels, after doing therapy with a child or even an adult, their cortisol levels actually go up in the dog. So they do take on some of the stress. Her name is Kitty. Yeah, she's never met a stranger.
You always see just changes.
1, 2,
Search our city skylines.
3, 4,
You're bound to spot them.
5. God, I can see like 6 over there, and there's 2 that way. 7, 8.
We're talking about a bird of sorts, one that soars high, one that's flocked to Texas in ever-increasing numbers.
There's a tremendous amount of growth.
The northern mockingbird might be the state bird of Texas, but the unofficial state bird might as well be
The tower crane.
the tower crane.
Absolutely. That phrase was coined back in the 80s when the show Dallas was on. That's caught and stayed on forever as the state bird. Fitting? Absolutely.
Reno Russell would know. He's the Southwest sales manager for Biggie, the largest supplier of tower cranes in the country. Russell took us to the top of the latest high-rise to rent one of his company's cranes.
We're in a very condensed area downtown with large buildings all around us, and the only way to really unload and load and build the project is the use of the tower crane.
If it seems like you're seeing more of these cranes dotting the skylines these days, you're right. There are. There are no fewer than 87 tower cranes in operation right now here in Dallas-Fort Worth. That's more than any other metropolitan area in the entire country.
This is one of the strongest areas in the entire United States for construction.
There's a company that actually counts construction cranes in several cities. As of this past summer, Seattle was crane king with 58. But the total number of tower cranes in cities like Frisco, Fort Worth, and Dallas takes us to the top.
It does. I'm really not surprised that we have the most cranes going because it is something that, like I said, I'm always looking at.
Looking up is more like it. That's where these cranes are busy, building our nests, the soaring skylines of tomorrow. In Dallas, Ben Russell, NBC5.
This is what I do. This is what I do.
It's hard to miss Lorelei Mika.
Fine with me, going on a ride.
This second grader never stops.
Stop. Turn around.
Not for long, at least.
She likes to be the center of attention.
That's Mom, Tommy.
She's hyper, she's a mess, but she's super sweet and always wants to see the best in everybody.
That quality has helped this week.
My bike, it had Hello Kitty on it.
And I mean, she's only had it for a month, so I was really angry.
Someone stole Lorelei's bike from off of the front porch Monday night.
That bike, it was mine. It's not theirs, it's mine. If it wasn't theirs, they shouldn't have stolen.
That makes a mom mad.
Really mad. Makes me very mad.
So
she wrote that sign.
This sign.
To the person that stole my daughter's new bike, I hope you're proud of yourself for making a 7-year-old child cry. Congratulations, you have succeeded in becoming a lowlife. I mean, I'm tired of people taking my daughter's stuff, you know, so I posted that hoping whoever stole it would see it and, you know, maybe they'd feel bad about it.
Lorelei might have cried that night.
So you have to listen.
But not for
to
long.
Me.
I mean, and she's so optimistic about it.
I think they're just trying to steal someone's bike because they don't have enough money and they just want a bike, so they stole it for their daughter.
That's what we're going on right now, that maybe a kid needed it more than her.